In the grand, often predictable banquet of modern fantasy, the First Law Trilogy strides in like a barbarian at a tea party, upsetting the table and redefining the taste of the genre. Joe Abercrombie, dubbed Lord Grimdark by fans, didn't just write a fantasy series. He took a battle axe to convention, carving out a niche that's as deep and dark as his characters. Let's don our metaphorical mail and explore how this trilogy has left an indelible scar on the face of fantasy literature. Before we jump in, hit like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. What's the First Law Trilogy? For those who've been gallivanting in less grim parts of the fantasy world, the First Law Trilogy consists of The Blade Itself, Before They Are Hanged, and Last Argument of Kings. These books introduce us to a world where the line between hero and villain is as blurred as a drunkard's vision, and moral ambiguity reigns supreme. It's a world filled with flawed, often unlikable characters, gritty realism, and a healthy dose of cynicism. A new kind of hero. One of Abercrombie's most significant impacts on fantasy is his redefinition of the hero. Gone are the shining knights and wise wizards. Instead, we meet the likes of Logen Ninefingers, a barbarian with a bloody past, and Sand Dan Glokta, a torturer who's as sharp with his words as he is with his instruments. Abercrombie's heroes are deeply flawed, often morally compromised, and incredibly human. This shift has encouraged a wave of fantasy literature that embraces more complex and nuanced protagonists. Gritty realism. Abercrombie's trilogy also stands out for its gritty realism. Battles are brutal, victories are pyrrhic, and magic comes with a hefty price. This unflinching look at the harsh realities of a fantasy world, where the good guys don't always win, or even know what good is, has influenced modern fantasy to lean towards darker, more realistic narratives. Subverting tropes. Another jewel in Abercrombie's grimdark crown is his skill at subverting traditional fantasy tropes. Expectations are set up only to be toppled, like a game of Jenga under a sorcerer's curse. This approach not only makes for compelling storytelling, but also encourages readers and writers alike to question and rethink the standard fantasy narrative structures. The ripple of grimdark. The ripple effects of the First Law Trilogy can be seen across modern fantasy. The term grimdark has become a genre in itself, characterized by moral ambiguity, complex characters, and often a bleak outlook. Abercrombie's work has opened the gates for other writers to explore themes and characters that might have once been considered too dark or complex for fantasy. Abercrombie's The First Law Trilogy has without doubt sharpened the edge of modern fantasy. It's a series that invites us to explore the shadows, to see the world not in black and white, but in varying shades of gray. In doing so, Abercrombie hasn't just told a gripping story. He's redefined what a fantasy story can be. That's no small feat. It's as rare and valuable as a wizard's final words. Thanks for listening. To find out more about John Cronshaw and his work, visit johncronshaw.com.